To begin in South Africa, President Jacob Zuma has received firm support from the ANC Youth League. A few hundred ANC Youth League members, including some newly elected cabinet ministers and current ministers, gathered at the Germiston Stadium in Johannesburg to speak up on the recent cabinet reshuffle. CGTN's Yolisa and Njamela has more.
A show of support for President Jacob Zuma as he faces turbulent times. Zuma faces mounting pressure to step down after instituting a cabinet reshuffle a few days ago. The reshuffle included the axing of the finance minister Pravin Gordhan. The sacking of Gordhan saw markets negatively reacting. But the ruling party's youth wing came out in full force to show support for Zuma.
The president of the African National Congress and the country will serve the remainder of his term as president of the ANC and president of South Africa. Those who want to remove the president must know that we will meet each other on the ballot. And when we go to the ballot, we will continue to vote for the African National Congress.
Senior ANC leaders were locked behind doors for the better part of Monday. Top of the agenda, the political fallout from the reshuffle. Observers say the party's top leadership is deeply divided after the reshuffle announcement.
Change is painful. Change is costly, sometimes confusing. What we see today in our movement, the African National Congress, is a very clear indication to us as a young generation that time has come that we take our movement to propel it to a greater future. We are sick and tired of the confusion that we are seeing.
Cabinet Minister Nomvula Mokonyane told the crowds that Zuma is safe in his position. The minister's comments came particularly after calls from various alliances and partners of the ANC, including veterans, COSATU and the SACP, for President Zuma to resign in the wake of his recent cabinet reshuffle.
Zuma will remain ANC's president until December 2017. The ANC will not change its mind. He will remain until we go to elections in 2019.
Between 2017 and 2019.
The ANC leadership is expected to announce its meeting outcomes on Wednesday. Yolisa and Njamela, CGTN, Germiston in Gauteng province.
And for more insights and analysis, let's speak to Sarah Gon from the Institute of Race Relations, joining us live from Johannesburg. Now, Sarah, there are more calls than ever for President Zuma to step down. Is he likely to survive the showdown currently going on within the ANC?
It's what makes it different to anything that's come before. The very fact that there are so many within ANC structures who have either called for him to resign or say that he must go. So it makes the moment we're in at present very, very different. Whether it means he will actually go or whether they'll persuade him to resign, I am not absolutely sure. None of us know, because he has the numbers within Parliament, he has the numbers within the National Executive Committee of the ANC to keep him there. So if they can't persuade him to resign, they would then have to rely on other measures, such as the no confidence motion being proposed by the Democratic Alliance and being prepared to join that and vote with that, or if that fails, to look at the possibility of impeachment proceedings which the Economic Freedom Front have started putting forward.
And in the event he doesn't step down, how is this likely to affect the country's political landscape and even economically?
Okay. The political landscape, I believe, is on a trajectory that if the issue of President Zuma is not resolved in the next few months, it is very likely that the ANC will split. And then the 2019 elections become a very different matter because we no longer have a dominant party. From an economic point of view, unfortunately, we have already seen the way in which we are likely to go, because Standard & Poor's, the rating agency, has downgraded us to the initial stage of junk status. And one of the most, it'll have ripple effects across the whole economy, because both government and private borrowing will be so much more expensive. And if we're using more of our taxes and our income to settle our debt, it means less is available for the much needed social and economic processes that need to be put in place to make this country more successful.
All right, Sarah Gone joining us from Johannesburg. Many thanks.